You're listening to 182.3, Care What People Think. Welcome back to this week's episode on Care What People Think. This podcast is about life, and I know that sounds dumb, but this is Will and I's first time on this earth, so we might as well share the moments that make us idiots that we are. So, especially Will.
Not scripted.
Not scripted at all.
That's
Not the second
to
time
our-
recording this, because I had to get the jitters out.
Throwback to the clothing brand and the URL that I still pay for.
Scripted. Facts.
Oh,
Check them
see.
out. Link in the description, except there's no description. All right.
And it's gone.
And it's gone. Oh, yeah, you sold it. All right. All right. Anyway, you know what I'm getting at. But before anything, make sure to leave a review or rating for this podcast because it means a lot to us. Today, we're going to be discussing the topic of embracing mistakes and embarrassments, also known as failure. But first, we're going to start out with something that we're proud of from the previous week. So for me, I went to Colombia in South America, not in South Carolina. I went with a group of friends, not Will because he's poor. And
That's crazy.
Hey, tell me I'm wrong.
I mean,
tell
true.
Me I'm wrong.
It's true. It's true.
It's not an opinion. That's a fact.
Bro,
he's laughing through the
wait.
pain. He's also crying right now.
Wait, before you even start about going to Colombia, this dude made a video. I can't remember if I said this last week. Bro made a video called That One Friend That Always Travels. And then he was wearing a Colombia shirt in the thumbnail. And then bro proceeds to go to Colombia and is that guy that just travels.
It was half
What a
joking,
guy.
but it was also like, no, the douchebag. There was like a douchebag character in my video, and it was absolutely hilarious. It was like very scripted, but it was also just I don't know. I mean, I kind of did play the part when I did go to Colombia myself, so you're not wrong. But
How long were you there for?
I was there for a total of 10 days.
That's crazy.
Yeah. 3 different
And
cities
then he's
as well.
going to Maine. And then he's going to Europe. And then he's going to Asia. And then I'm started.
Man said Asia.
Yeah, you're touring all of Asia.
What are you trying? What? Why?
You can afford
Why
it.
am I going? Yeah, you're right. Mr. Rich Guy talking, right? All right. Can I say something we're proud of? So I went to Colombia with a group of my friends, and obviously I had a blast. I went through all these different cities, different cultures, but we had to be careful with our surroundings. I was also like very happy to experience somewhere that was so unknown to most Americans and put myself out there. This also gave me a pretty big break from work, and I was working like 40-hour weeks for like 7 weeks in a row serving, which is not very
Crazy.
fun. So I was definitely getting the bag before that, but I just had to, that was really it. I was just really proud of myself for doing it, and not everybody would go to Colombia just out on a limb like that. So would you
How
go to
long
Colombia?
did it? No. Wow. Well, if you're asking, my bank account said no. But you're saying, wait, so how long did you plan to go to Colombia? Because you're saying, like, go out on a limb. I actually don't know this. Like, did you... Because
Well, I
Ryan's a
planned it
very
out, like-
last-minute guy.
No,
Because,
no,
bro-
no. Well, I had to be a little bit better with it because of a group. Like, I was with a group, right? So it was like 4 or 5 months before the trip that we got our, like, flights and everything. So it was planned
You bought
out.
flights 4 months before your flight.
Yeah,
There's
the reason
no
why
way.
is because we were all traveling from different places throughout the whole world. So we had to make sure everything timed up.
No, that's, like, so early. When I went to England, I swear I only bought my ticket, like, a month in advance.
It's just like peak season for them, so we had to.
Oh, okay.
So there was a lot of reasons. Anyway, my man is arguing with me, but we're supposed to get this podcast going.
No, the last thing I was gonna say is, bro said he had to be aware of his surroundings. What do you mean by that?
So do you want me to share an experience?
did bro have a certain experience that may have
Bro
altered
almost got stabbed. Bro almost got stabbed.
Oh,
Bro almost... I'm not even kidding. Have I told you this story?
No, I thought you were gonna say that bro brushed his teeth with water and then got dysentery.
That's also true. I also never told you this either. Man's had E. coli.
What?
Swear,
There's
bro.
no way.
The water, man. The water. It was in the water because my stomach, I thought at first, I was like, okay, I just have the shits. It's like water in Mexico where you just have like a bad stomach and diarrhea for like 5 days, right? the diarrhea just never went away, and I had these like cramping pains in my stomach, so I had to go to the
That
doctor,
sucks.
and your boy had remnants of E. coli. So I've been on antibiotics up until
Holy
yesterday.
shit.
So
Was that before or after you almost got stabbed?
that was during, because I had stomach problems 3 days before, and then I almost got mugged 3 days after. And I could get more into that, but let's just say stay safe and walk with other people. That's the lesson I learned.
And don't drink water.
And don't drink water. Yep, just drink beer. So, Will, this is definitely longer than expected. Would you like to get into your first topic?
Yeah. So obviously embracing mistakes, embarrassments, I don't know, feeling kind of shame or just, I don't know, just peak embarrassment. The main thing that I feel like is important is like, I don't know who I heard this from, but kill the part of you that cringes, not what's cringy. Mostly because usually what's cringy about you is like a good thing. Like that is like the kid version of you or like your personality. And if you like adapt to societal norms about like, hey, don't do this because that's weird. Hey, don't do this. Don't do that. Like those, you could potentially just lose who you are the older you get. I'm obviously saying this in like certain situations. Obviously, if it's like, hey, don't walk around with no shoes everywhere. And then you're like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to walk everywhere with no shoes. I mean, obviously, don't go into like a job and not wear shoes. Like, but like the whole point is like, if
The
you're.
problem is I could picture you with no shoes and just doing that because you think you're cool. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm going to wear no shoes because I think I'm cool.
Mans
but if
thought
you kill...
that hoverboards were going to be the new thing. Mans had a hoverboard all the way through high school.
And that shit was not a mistake. I walked to math class and I charged that bitch in the wall. I asked my math teacher, hey, can I charge my Swagway in the wall? And everyone in the class fucking looked at me like I was goddamn crazy. Do you know who is not embarrassed? Your boy. Because that was how I got home. That wasn't embarrassing. I embraced it because I'm like, I think this is cool. If everyone thinks this is lame, I don't give a shit because I think it's cool. And at the end of the day,
you know what? That's a good clap back.
I
mean, it was super lame, but I respect that response. Mans wanted to avoid walking.
Bro, it was faster. It was faster to Swagway than
I'll give you that. I honestly just could never balance, so that's why I give you shit. So.
Oh, that's crazy. No, but that was pretty much the main, like, I feel like that's just a very important point. Also, like, small comparison, Patrick from SpongeBob, does he know or does he think he's an idiot or embarrassed?
No.
Or like, exactly. So like, if you just like, it's the perspective of where you're coming from. Because if you're like looking at SpongeBob, right? If you are in SpongeBob's position, you're probably looking at Patrick being like, you are cringy as fuck. You're embarrassing because you don't know, you don't have knowledge about this. You're dumb, whatever. But like, if you're not like, if you just kill the part of you that like cringes at shit you do, you could just be living like Patrick. He does live under a rock, but you know, like,
but
peaceful.
Don't we all live on a rock, so whatever. Also, to kind of just bounce off of that, another SpongeBob reference, but Squidward is super judgmental and he cringes at a lot of things, and he seems to be probably one of the most sad characters in TV history. So,
damn.
I'm just saying, like, just make sure, you kill the part of you that cringes. I think, although Patrick may be dumber on paper, he's happier. So who's really winning? That's all I'm saying. Also, have you ever seen Ted Lasso?
I've seen part of it.
Okay. There's not a quote, but there's a part where he tells one of the teammates on the team, be a goldfish. I know that's like the biggest, it's like a huge part of the show. Everyone's probably like, oh my God, that's such a stupid point to bring up. But it basically means that goldfish don't remember anything, right? After like 3 to 5 seconds. I don't know if you know that, but like they have the most short-term memory ever. Make sure that you're like happy no matter what the result is. You're trying to be optimistic no matter what. And then you can put in your 110% whenever you're like, instead of being stuck up on failure and mistakes and stuff like that.
Yeah, like moving on.
Yeah, moving on quicker than the average person, not getting stuck up, not holding grudges, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, a little sub point as well. I grew a mustache. You cannot see me. Now people at work think I'm either Pablo Escobar's long lost son or a pedophile. And I realized I don't give a shit because I actually enjoy it, even though it's like little pubes on my face and I can't grow good facial hair. But that's another great point. I don't care about my appearance, like in other people's eyes. I think I look good, so that's a perfect thing. Crazy. You gotta do what's like good for you, though. Example. For real.
No, actually, I was gonna say like the last like big mistake, because I was trying to think of like detrimental like mistakes I made as of recently, and literally the biggest mistake, which I embrace because I wouldn't be here. I would definitely not have as much like knowledge if I didn't, is embracing the mistake of going to college. More specifically, going to my college. My college was dog water. Dog water is not even doing it justice. It was fucking garbage shit. And I've never even said that sentence before. That was cringy. You like that? Full circle. Cringe at my own.
Hey, I don't cringe anymore, so.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Patrick. This is Patrick.
I'm Patrick. All right, you go. Keep talking.
No, like, so my college was like awful. I don't know like what other people's thinking is about college, but like as a kid, I thought it was like portrayed like you're gonna meet your like your best friend in college, like Mordecai and Rigby, Finn and Jake type vibe. You're gonna meet like someone that you are like best friends with in college. I went to community college, nothing fucking happened. I went to normal college. First of all, in my own high school, didn't fucking happen. Went to college, didn't fucking happen. And I literally look back in college, I'm like, I could not have tried to make more friends than I did because there were so many ways I tried, but like that didn't happen. And so like I disliked pretty much everyone in my entire college, maybe besides like 2 or 3, but it wasn't like that kind of twin flame energy where you're like best friends or like just a really close friend that I would casually hang out with. And yeah, I have to embrace that I basically wasted 3 years of my life at a school where I didn't get to meet anyone, which is like low-key the main reason you go to college. I mean, Ryan's been hanging with the same group of friends since he was like 2 months old. But normally when you like go to college, oh yeah, you're right. So because I didn't have that friend group all huddled around at the hospital 2 weeks old, I didn't have that group. So I thought I'd meet in college, didn't happen. But I definitely learned a lot, like socially. As shitty as it sounds, you learn in college, people are fucking lost, like wasting their time. Like you could go to college and literally do drugs. I'm not saying to do this. You could do drugs all 4 years and then just like you still get back on track.
Yeah, don't do
which is crazy. No. Okay. So because I didn't meet anyone, I worked through my whole like college experience. But yeah, so for me, like I hate to say that I went to that college because it is embarrassing in my opinion. I really hope the college shuts down because I have a whole ass Google Doc explaining why it's bad. Also, Ryan toured my fucking like school in a vlog, and it was shit.
I can attest to it. It is dog water. It's shit, can, dog, trash, whatever you said it was. It's terrible. The reason why I disagree with a couple points is because you were set up for failure. I feel like your college in general, there was not enough people to meet. Like there weren't enough different groups, different people. Everyone seemed to be the same. Everyone went back to their dorm, didn't really socialize. So you were kind of just set out to fail. And when I was on campus, nobody was outside. Nobody was really like enjoying the grass or anything. Like I know that sounds stupid, but where I went to school or where I went to college was Colorado State University, and they have these huge pieces of grass throughout the campus called like the intramural fields, or like I can't even remember the other one. Yeah, the oval. Yeah, and where like all these people just hang out, even like during the winter. I'm not even lying. Like you could be throwing snowballs and stuff, but either way. It's a place to socialize, and there's so many people at my college compared to Will's where you could kind of find your niche group. And I'm going to kind of twist this in a different way, but I wasn't like a student that studies hours on end, so I didn't get as much out of the actual college itself. I actually got more outside of the classroom. I also had some bad experiences with teacher that gave busy work. Kind of felt like high school all over again. I also had a lot of professors that were just out of touch with like society and where we are as a whole, like technology wise. Even like I had an 80-year-old professor. It was a computer science professor, right? And he didn't even know what AI was until like 8 months after ChatGPT was a thing. I'm like, bro, first off, that's probably like in the New York Times everywhere. And how are you, even at 80 years old, not up to that, like up to the time? You know?
It's also like in the whole, like, he's a computer science thing.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Exactly. Like, I want to implement technology into my job, and it's a huge part of like our generation. So why aren't you talking about it? So, like I said, I learned a lot about myself, but when I was outside of the classroom. So another point I learned out of college too was overcoming your fear of failure. This teaches you to be fearless. This was started at an early age for me with soccer. Will was a part of my experience with soccer too. I broke his arm, actually. You know me.
That's crazy to say, but like it's just true.
Yeah, well,
if you want to know how that happened, you can watch 15-year-old Will in a fucking cast explain it on a 144 pixel camcorder.
On his YouTube. Make sure to not do that because it is a tough watch. I'm just kidding. But soccer taught me that I was like kind of either a success or I felt like I was either very successful or I felt like I would fail when it came to especially tryouts. I always like worked for like the top spot, the top team, you know, like Arsenal Gold. But it often like kicked me in the ass when it didn't work out to plan. But especially in college, this is kind of like coming full circle. I had to understand that not everything is according to plan. And you have to make sure that you still try your best and identify what you're scared of, what makes you feel like you're failing. And I don't know. For me, I use like a lot of like techniques just to relax me. Like it sounds like therapy at this point, but literally just like breathing techniques and just going outside, doing things that you enjoy. For Will, even it could be like editing. For you as a listener, you could be painting your nails. I don't even know, but do something that like relaxes yourself. Do you have anything else to add on to that?
No, I was just gonna tie back to the point. The best part, like embracing a mistake, the best part you can do about it is look how. Most of the time what's cool about a mistake is like it will only seem negative until like days, months, even years. Like once it's passed, you look back being like, wow, I'm like really glad that kind of happened because it projected me further than if I didn't make the mistake. Like the one thing that I was going to say that I do like embrace about going to Whittier College is that it allowed me to kind of just, what do you call it? Like I didn't have to be so rushed. Like it bought me time and it allowed me to live in California. I knew I wanted to live in California because of just YouTube, social media, graphic design. That was like where the networking was. So I wanted to live here, but I could not have done that like regularly just by coming out here to get a job. I would have been way more stressed if I just came and did that. So like going to college in the moment sucked ass, huge mistake. But then like upon reflection, it's like, well, it did allow me to live here. And then right after I graduated, not even after I graduated, right before, 4 days after I graduated, I signed the lease to my apartment. I just moved out. So I'd like the smoothest transition, which may not have happened if I didn't make that quote unquote mistake.
Yeah, and honestly, living with my parents, I feel the same way. Like, although I graduated 5-6 months ago now, I couldn't. There's no way I could move like straight to North Carolina just after that and be like, "Yep, I'm starting a 9-to-5 corporate America."
Yeah, you're literally just you are going to be stressed 24/7. Even if you have a bunch of funds, it's just a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Make sure you're not like Will, failing and poor.
True. Because if you can't financially succeed and you can't succeed with your passion, dude, what are you doing?
Facts.
Well, that's gonna be it for the Care What People Think podcast today. Make sure to listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that jazz. Meaning, I don't know the other places to listen to, but please leave a review and a rating. Bro, people actually still use that, and it is kind of pissing me off because, like,
you know who probably uses it? My 80-year-old professor. Probably. Not even gonna lie.
That's so good. Well, leave a rating or a review. That helps the podcast out a lot. Get recommended and everything. And if you're gonna listen to one thing throughout this episode, remember to embrace mistakes and embarrassments because it's a natural thing. It's really hard to do, but it can propel you forward for the future, and it's necessary to grow. And remember, care what people think. We'll see you next week.
See you next week on 182.3.